All right, I'm going to try to do a video. It's going to be a few minutes long, but a video about uh, the different shortcut keys and what you can do with them to help you kind of move around the world a little quicker, place objects quicker, things like that. The first one I'm going to address is the prefab library versus the prefab folder. So the main difference I'm aware of between these two, the items that are in the prefabs library are going to have applied a rotation to them and possibly a scale to them. So if we just look at those bins I deleted and we place one down, I'm not doing anything extra. I'm literally just clicking and dragging. It's going to apply a rotation to it. Okay. Certain things like trees, when you place trees down, so let's just, I'll show you. Where's this one at? You place this tree down, it's going to have a scale of 1.142. Click and drag another one. Scale of 0.979. You can see this one ends up being a little taller, this one's a little shorter. It's also rotated differently. This one's got a bit more of a rotation than what this one does. So this is beneficial when you're putting things around your map and you're hand placing things, because they're not going to be such a cookie cutter version of themselves. They're going to be a little bit different than the last version. So Prefabs library is great for that. I'm going to be working out of the Prefabs folder, and no particular reason other than that's just a folder I'm going to work out of right now. You can absolutely do what I'm telling you about with prefab library items. We're going to start with we're just going to use a retaining wall as our example. Actually, I want to use this one here. And we're just going to click and drag it. So to start with the different hotkeys and kind of shortcuts you can use. First one is camera movement. When you're moving around your world, sometimes you want to go slow, sometimes you want to go fast just to get to another point quicker. You can achieve this by holding down the right mouse button. That's how you move around the world. And then your mouse wheel will change the speed. Drag your wheel down, it'll go slower. Roll it up, it'll go faster. And again, you're doing this while holding down the right mouse click. It's kind of like Game Master. All right, so it's back to where we were at. The first hotkey on the keyboard we're going to work with is the letter Q. That'll bring up the ground manipulation tool. Really, it's just clicking and dragging this item around off of this dot. All right, it'll for the most part follow the terrain as it moves around. This is great for getting items in a general area of where you want them, such as like this tree. I just kind of want it over here. Perfect. Doesn't need to be precise. All right. Some items, such as this trash can, will kind of mold and shape around items that are there. So use that to your heart's content as you want, but I don't know what that's going to achieve with a trash can. So the next hotkey is going to be the letter W, and that will bring up the move tool. There are a couple options here you can mess around with. I've not messed around them too much, but it gives you some arrows to be a little bit more precise with your items. You can move them left, right, forward, back, and up and down on the different angles. Coordinates. So if you notice, the arrow is the same color as the coordinate that it corresponds to. All right, so if you need to be super precise, you can look and reference, okay, I need this to be just a hair more that way, and that way changes the numbers higher. You can change it higher if you want, but just these little arrows should give you enough precision to do what you need to achieve. Okay. The letter E will bring up the rotate tool. Same idea with the rotate tool. You get some colored items here, but it doesn't have color symbolism here. So if you turn it, you can see the numbers change. So the green is the Y angle, blue is the Z, and then red is the X. Now, if you want to go back to what you defaulted, you can do Ctrl Z to just undo each step you did, or you can hit the arrows. All right. You are within this tool, and actually you don't even need to be on the move tool to do this, but if let's say you have an item a little bit too high and you want it to snap to the ground, there's a couple ways to do this. Just keep in mind an item is going to snap to the ground on the point right here. So even though there's all of this underneath it, it's going to snap to that point. The tool for it, or I'm sorry, the shortcut key for it is Control and then the down arrow on your keyboard, and it snaps that to the ground. We're going to bring it back up. Another shortcut for snapping the ground is Control and Shift down arrow key, but it is going to modify this object a little bit with its angles more than a straight snap to ground. It is going to kind of shape it with the ground, such as like this garbage can, right? Oh. This garbage can, if the terrain underneath it isn't flat, isn't necessarily going to want to be flat, right? So if we have it straight, it looks a little weird if it's completely straight. But if we Control, Shift, and down arrow it, it's going to shape it with that terrain to where it's a little bit more realistic, okay? You don't really want to do that with certain items, such as like a house, right? A house, in my opinion, should not be tilted left, right, forward, or backwards. It should be straight up and down. So keep it in mind when you're moving certain items around. Certain items you want to follow that shape. Certain items you do not want to follow that shape. Okay. We're gonna go to the letter R, and that's gonna bring up your scale tool. So if you click this and you drag it up or drag it down, it's gonna make the item bigger or smaller. There is a warning that comes along with this, and that is that certain objects, players will be able to, excuse me, fighting a cold. Players might be able to glitch into the clipping of the item, such as if you get I'll just bring in one of mine over here, like these rocks. This rock is scaled up to 2 times, so you got to be careful, because if you do it realistically any bigger than that on certain rocks, the player will be able to go prone. Let's just say like right here, they'll glitch into the clipping of the object, and they'll be able to see and possibly even shoot and move around with this. So it's an exploit. So just be mindful of scaling. I don't know what negative could come from scaling down, but scaling up can definitely cause the potential for a exploit. So be mindful with that. I do scale every once in a blue moon, especially on when I'm doing my mountains like that. So that is the scale tool. That is with the letter R. So another shortcut you can get, this is for locating an item in the resource browser quickly. So let's just say you've placed this bin down and you want to go back to the section of the folder the bins were in. You can hit the letter P on your keyboard, and that'll bring you to that folder that item is in. Okay, to where let's just say, okay, I want some garbage around this trash bin. You can go back to here, and there's some items that you can place right there, or a small junk pile. Okay, so it helps you kind of find items that are like items like that, or that exact item if you need to find that exact item, right? Or this retaining wall. You want to go back into the folder where retaining walls are at to find the different pieces of this retaining wall. Let's say you're looking at someone else's map. Let's say you look at my map and you're like, hey, that item that he's got placed down. What is it? What is the name of it? Because I tried finding it and I cannot find it. You can click on it, hit the letter P. Oh, let's go back to that. Click the letter P, and it brings you to that folder. There are some items that are in a hierarchy of another item. So right now, you know, if I want to know what is this table, all right, I'd have to look through this whole list off of farmhouse to try to find that table in here. If you have, what is this called? Select parent entities. If you have select parent entities on, and you click on an item that is within a hierarchy, meaning it is a child of another item, you are going to select its, I'm sorry, you're going to select its parent, all right, no matter what you do here, all right. There is a glitch sometimes where if this is already off, it doesn't work. So sometimes you need to turn it on and then turn it off and then select your item. You can find that item in this list. Now we've selected it. We can hit P. Oh, that didn't work. So at least here, you now know it is called table 01. And you can find it in the Reforger. Where would it go? Table 01. All right, I could have sworn I did that before. I'm going to move on from this, but it gives you at least a general idea of what you can do inside the child items. All right. And the reason it brought this up in the resource browser is because this item is currently hidden under the farmhouse. So I do apologize about that. We're just going to move on from it. So from here, we've looked at how to bring the item up. There is a easy way to duplicate an item, right? So if you look here, I've got all of these retaining walls here, okay? Let's say I want to do the same thing, but on this side, okay? We can easily duplicate an item by having out the move tool, or you can even do this with the rotate tool. I'll show you both. And we're going to hold down Ctrl and Alt, and we're going to move the item. And you can notice it's going to snap a little bit, okay? If you let go of that button, you can get a little bit more precise in your movement. Sometimes when you overlap an item, you will see the textures where they meet start to glitch out a little bit. You can fix that by changing the scale, generally by just the lowest point number on that scale, okay? So this one's 027, this one is 1.0, I'm sorry, this one's 1.028, this one is 1.027. So not a noticeable difference in the scale, and it's not going to give you the glitching where they meet like it should, or like it does. So you can hold Alt and move, and it gives you a more precise movement. From what I understand, sometimes it doesn't follow the angle properly. So when you have an item that's tilted and you go to move it, sometimes it doesn't follow this the way that it should. But if you do Control and Alt and move it, you shouldn't have that problem. And again, once you get it close, let go of Control and Alt, and you can still move it, or just let go of everything and then go back to moving it. All right. You can do this with the Rotate tool and rotate something, and there you go. All right. Now, when you're rotating, all right, notice how we're moving it, we're rotating it, and it's free, right? If you hold Control, not Alt Control, just Control, it's going to snap at certain degrees. Okay. If you want to change the amount of angle change the number here, unclick that, and then it'll snap increments of 5. If you leave this check marked, it's going to auto snap. I don't want that. I want it to only snap when I want it to snap. All right. So 15 does seem to be a pretty good grounds for snapping. I like it. You can make it smaller if you want. So I believe that is most everything. Let me check my list here, make sure I'm not missing something. All right. So just to kind of give an example of how this works, right? So I'm just going to delete these. All right. So I'm going to show you how I made this. Again, it's super easy. So get out your move tool, Control and Alt, and we're going to click and drag. All right. It's going to bring it over at the exact height and everything that one is at. Control and Alt, drag it. Now you can even do 2 at once. So hold down Control, click one, hold down Control, click the other, left Control and Alt, click and drag, and you can select the other ones too if you want. So let's do that. All right, there you go. All right, so pretty easy. Another way you can bring an item to the other item's exact location. So let's say I want this to be stacked exactly on top of this. All right, we can click on the one item's, the one we want to bring it to. We can right click on its coordinates, hit copy, click on this, click on its coordinates, hit paste, and it'll bring it and snap it right there. And you can move it over, up, down, wherever you want to on that. If this item is brand new and we want it to match the same angle as this, we can take this one's angle, copy it, and paste it into that one's angle. And now it's there. So you can even combine this to where if it's offset on that angle, you can bring its angle there, get its coordinates, copy its coordinates over, and there you go. It snapped right on top of that. All right. So if I think of any other tips and tricks off these hotkeys, I'll redo the video or make a second tips and trick video on these. And that should be that. Any questions, or if you have anything you want to be added, just let me know and I will either redo this video or make another one. Thank you.